2017 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. Chevrolet sends the Camaro to finishing school and ends up with an impeccably behaved monster. It's a curious truth of automotive engineering that, in general, the lower the volume target for a new vehicle, the more effort is invested in perfecting it. Engineers seem to sweat the nuances of a Ferrari far more than they do those of a Fiat. The same goes for performance models of mass-produced vehicles. With the tedious stuff already taken care of, say, making the car come together as easily as a snap-tight model on the assembly line, the performance guys are free to spend months toying with bushing stiffness. Unburdened by trivialities such as radio reception or defroster performance, the go-fast department finds time to lap a track for 24 hours. Such is the backstory of the Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. Development engineers fussed over 7 iterations of their customized Goodyear Eagle F1 Supercar 3 tires. 3 iterations are typical in vehicle development. They spent more than a year calibrating the 10-speed automatic transmission. And they made 6 separate trips to the Nürburgring in order to fine-tune the car, with the eventual payoff being a 7:29.60 lap, almost 12 seconds faster than its predecessor. That exhaustive development was applied to some of the most astonishing hardware extant. Its magnetorheological dampers take their cues from sensors that read the road 1,000 times per second, and electronically controlled limited-slip differential shuffles torque between the rear wheels with computer precision, and a wet sump variant of the LT4 supercharged 6.2-liter V8 delivers incredible thrust. Imagine a Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat that can corner, a Ford Mustang Shelby GT350 with an additional 124 horsepower, and a BMW M4 with even better steering. The Camaro ZL1 is all of these things and more. The ZL1's parts list is familiar. Many will think of this car as a Corvette Z06 with 4 seats, its base price of $63,435 equating to a $17,010 discount over the Supervette. But the ZL1 is not exactly a Z06, even if bits of it certainly are shared. The ZL1's own contribution to Chevy's arsenal of performance parts is its new 10-speed automatic transmission, see explained below. The standard 6-speed manual gearbox, with a well-weighted shifter and clutch pedal, is a much better choice for those who want to choose their own gears, but the auto is a box of magic. It allows a dramatic wind-up through first, then supplies a progression of rapid-fire RPM rewinds as you rocket to triple-digit speeds, the gearbox racing through upshifts with superbike-like snappiness. In Los Angeles traffic, conversely, the transmission picked through the ratios with virtually imperceptible gear changes. At any pace, it shifts with minimal torque reduction and never hunts for the right ratio. When you demand thrust, the trans executes a sudden yet smoothed downshift without any intermediate steps. At the throttle from 60 miles per hour and a flawless 10th to 3rd transition wakes the LT4 like a sleeping lion poked with a branding iron. Consider the ZL1's 50 to 70 mph passing performance, a test we initiate once the transmission has selected its highest ratio as the car opes along at 50 mph at 2.1 seconds. The ZL1 surge is just 0.3 seconds behind that of the 532 horsepower Tesla Model S P90D, which doesn't need to shift its single-speed gearbox. Having given it 650 horsepower and 650 pound-feet, the engineers leave it to the driver to exercise the restraint necessary to produce the best acceleration. Despite having launch control, the quickest way to 60 miles per hour requires standing on the brake, then smoothly and slowly rolling into the throttle. The goal is to have the accelerator fully squeezed just as you shift into second. You must shift manually, else the autobox will upshift before the 6,500 revolution per minute red line. Thinking your slow-moving right foot reflects a lack of commitment. Mastery begets glory. You're moving a mile a minute after 3.4 seconds. The quarter mile flashes past at 125 miles per hour, just 11.5 seconds after releasing the brake. Chevy makes only minor adjustments to the transmission calibration as you switch between the ZL1's driving modes. In the Sport and Track settings, The engine cuts fuel on upshifts for faster gear changes, which are accompanied by a satisfying blat, yet the computer still targets the same shift points. That changes when enthusiastic driving triggers one of 3 performance algorithms, still in sport or track mode. The first level holds gears when you lift off the throttle and rev matches on downshifts, while the most aggressive mode constantly holds the lowest possible gear. The controller watches throttle and brake inputs and lateral Gs to activate performance shifting or to revert to the standard setting after a period of soft pedaling. The only way to decipher which performance algorithm is active is to study where on the 7,500 revolution per minute tachometer the needle is spending its time. It's a slightly strange and opaque way to control the transmission, but it works surprisingly well. All it takes is a single corner of hard driving to trigger the performance shift. The sheer number of gears removes a lot of the joy from manually paddling through the cogs. Not to mention that downshifts in this mode feel significantly slower and clunkier than when the gearbox is left to its own devices. Engineers did attempt to address the tedium of toggling through 6 or 7 or 10 gears by writing code that jumps to the lowest possible gear when you hold the left shift paddle, but we found the system to be wildly inconsistent. Sometimes the downshift was nearly instantaneous. At other times, whole seconds passed before the shift occurred. And sometimes, inexplicably, there was no shift at all, no matter how long we held the paddle. The new 10-speed transmission, the addition of the LST, and an extra 70 horsepower make this ZL1 both faster and more rewarding than the 5th-generation ZL1. Yet the largest transformation happened when all 6th-generation Camaros moved from GM's Zeta platform to the lighter, more nimble Alpha architecture. That change saves more than 200 pounds compared with the prior ZL1. It's not light, at almost 4,000 pounds with the automatic gearbox, but the ZL1 coupe moves with uncanny agility. Equipped with staggered good years, the ZL1 isn't quite as neutral as the 5th-generation Z/28, nor is it latched to the pavement like that car, which wore 305-section Pirelli P0 Trufio R rubber at all 4 corners. It does, though, circle the skid pad at 1.04 grams and haul its 3,933 pounds to a stop from 70 miles per hour in 143 feet, continuing to erase the notion of the American muscle car as a crude, one-trick, straight-line hero. Weighty electrically assisted power steering with a variable ratio rack bends the car into curves with poise and precision. Understeer is easily abated with clean driving or a quick prod of the throttle, and the suede-wrapped steering wheel communicates the chatter of the front rubber instantly and clearly when the tires start to slide. GM's excellent performance traction management offers 5 increasingly lenient traction and stability settings to help the driver set a quick and safe lap time, no matter their skill. A new line lock feature, yes, the Mustang had it first, clamps down on the front brakes for up to 15 seconds so the driver can warm the rear meats before a drag run or smoke out the crowd at a car show. But really, who needs help spinning the tires with this much torque? The launch control algorithm now offers both automatic and custom settings. The latter allows the driver to select the launch RPM and the amount of wheel slip, from 5 to 15% in 0.5% increments. The team that built the ZL1 pitches the car as equally adept at running quarter-mile drags, lapping Virginia International Raceway, and riding along the Angeles Crest Highway. It's certainly competent at any of those activities, but we think it's truly exceptional at the last one, streaking down a great road and plastering a grin on your face. Strapped into the deeply bolstered Recras by Red seatbelts, standard with select exterior colors, we hammered the ZL1 over the highway through the San Gabriel Mountains north of Los Angeles, confident in its firm brake pedal and natural steering, the trans automatically holding the lowest gear, and the engine blasting anger through the valleys. Few things have made us happier this year. We weren't offered a chance to drive the ZL1 convertible, so we can say if Chevy has done anything to stiffen that rolling tub of jello. The coupe, however, has no trouble managing the engine's grunt, the road's imperfections, and the considerable cornering forces the ZL1 can muster. With the Camaro ZL1, Chevrolet mixes its most raucous, most capable hardware into a monster of a car at a bargain price. More tire and less weight could turn it into a true track rat, but it's a car that you can live with every day and hustle across any piece of pavement, and we wouldn't change a thing. The ZL1 is even greater than the sum of its special parts.